Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Cooper Kupp is on the block, they say. What is your read on that situation? Like the LA Rams, since winning the Super Bowl, have become a garage sale, a flea market, a yard sale. That's what they are. What are your thoughts on Cooper Kupp being dealt?
Well, the yard sale began with Andrew Whitworth retiring after the Super Bowl. A few years later, Aaron Donald retires. They had to get a new receiver in Puka Nacua. He sets a record and now becomes wide receiver one. And who is left out of all this? It's Cooper Kupp, who was wide receiver one when they drafted him out of Eastern Washington. And he hasn't been the same since that Super Bowl year. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that he's on the block. In fact, this Rams team, after, in essence, buying a Super Bowl in 2021, are going to sell off every piece, including 36-year-old Matthew Stafford, and they're going to try to build they're going to try to build this thing, quote unquote, the right way. Problem is, you're already in history as a Super Bowl champion, so there's nowhere to go for the Rams, and we're seeing it, but down.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
I was born to broadcast. So the World Juniors, 2012, I'm calling the national radio feed. I'm sitting there in the press box of the Saddle Dome like this, playing Pac-Man on my phone. Ray Ferraro, he's like, "Are you kidding me?" And I'm like, "What are you doing?" "I'm playing Pac-Man on my phone." "I just died." And he goes, "Don't you have game prep to get ready for the game or something?" "No, I know the numbers. I know everything about them. Let's get the game going."
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show. Welcome to a, Wednesday. Yeah, buddy. I'm here in the Florida studio where it's a little chilly, but we'll survive. Moose is in Toronto, and I'll be honest, Darren, you're very lucky that I showed up today because I don't normally work on Elvis's birthday, January the 8th. But I made an exception here in 2025, and we're ready to rock and roll. How about you?
We appreciate that, Rod. We appreciate that. Yeah, ready to roll. Absolutely.
Okay, what can I tell you? Sportsnet's Arash Madani will be joining us in hour two, but let's be honest, we're the one dropping the scoops today, bringing the fire. You guys want to hit the Quick Six show horn, please, and we'll get going. We got breaking news that we're going to get to with point two. Number one, the big story for all of those that aren't necessarily following football is the National Hockey League. There is a big story that we broke that for whatever reason, 3 Down Nation and Justin Dunk not giving us credit for dropping the news and the scoop, but I'll deal with that with Justin. Chris Jones is joining Bill Belichick at the University of North Carolina, and that's a fact. That's our second point. But for everybody else, we're still on national television, Game Plus TV, Darren, and it's Canada where hockey is king. So I'm going to run through a couple quick one-timers while everybody gets settled and has a sip of their coffee. Jonathan Huberdeau scored at 2:05 of overtime, and the visiting Calgary Flames, with all their mothers looking on, edged the Anaheim Ducks 3-2 in NHL play Tuesday. Let's be honest, we always played better when our parents were there, right? Morgan Barron and Josh Morrissey scored 16 seconds apart to help the Winnipeg Jets netminder Connor Hellebuck record his 300th NHL win, and Winnipeg knocked off Nashville 5-2. Adam Henrique scored twice. Connor McDavid ended his 7-game goalless drought in the visiting Edmonton Oilers. Blank Boston 4-0. We watched that one in our house. And Matthew Nyes scored at 13:21 of the third period, snapped the 2-2 tie, lifted the Leafs to a 3-2 victory over Philly. The Leafs' fifth straight win. And Patrick Kane scored a 2:21 of overtime, and the Detroit Red Wings won their fifth in a row with a 3-2 decision over the visiting Ottawa Senators. There's a lot of stuff coming out of that, and that's just the Canadian teams. Did you watch the Leafs last night?
I did. And, it didn't look good early. They got outshot 10-1 in the first period by Philadelphia. But the Leafs, it's how they're a good team when you don't play your best and you still find ways to win. When you're getting outshot like that and you're getting outplayed, you don't panic and you don't let it all break down. They stayed in the game. Joseph Wall did his thing. And eventually they found a way. John Tavares had a big goal. Matthews scored. So, the Leafs kind of continue to roll, even if it didn't look pretty last night.
Well, you beat me 8-6 in our NHL Breakaway Bets daily sport
How about
betting
that?
segment that we do. 8-6, Darren beat me. And let's just break that down for a second. Darren had 8 of 12 games correct. So that would have paid on your ticket if you're into that sort of
Thank
thing.
you.
I was 6 of 12. I'd have failed. I'd have lost money. And what I've realized is I feel like the way that we do it, we should almost do it like the old Sports Select. Go around a corner, check a box with a pencil so we don't see what the other guy's doing. Because let's be honest, it affects my thinking. Why the hell would I have picked some of these games last night? Oh, it does. So it's no excuse. You're beating me fair and square on the year 18-15 in our bets. But come on, man. Even with no money on the line, we're going back and checking the scores, right? Like as they go along in the morning, we can't wait. It's amazing. And even football, I noticed this, dude. What was the point spread in that Baltimore? Who did the Ravens play? Was it the Browns? The spread was 20 points, right, when we played our NFL Deal or No Deal on Friday. I waited to the end of the game to see if the Ravens were going to bust it open and cover the spread. I'm like, oh, my God, you're such a degenerate. But it works.
It does.
Hey?
It really does. Like, I'm checking all the scores and, you crash early, and I crashed early last night, but I'm up at the crack of dawn checking the scores this morning. How did I do? What happened? How do the standings look now? So it is. It's wild.
There's a term a lot of our viewers will know the name Bob Hughes, and you will as a son of Saskatchewan like me. He's the dean of sports writers in Saskatchewan from the Regina Leader-Post. He had a term called vacillations. And I never knew what that meant, but it sounded exciting. Vacillations. What it meant was going back and forth. I vacillate between being a fan and a media pundit and whatever the hell I am, an influencer, a sports talk guy, whatever. I go back and forth, and I get that rush. This is why I don't gamble. I make it very clear that we don't put any money on the line because when I was playing DraftKings and winning, come on, let's all admit it. Clark, I'm sure you've played. Darren, you have. When you win, you get a rush, and you think, I could be a general manager of an NFL team. Come on. I won on DraftKings. I finished in the top 10,000 on Sunday. Like, hello? Do you not get that? And that's what fans think. They could do the job.
Yeah. 100%. It's even worse when we play the video games and we assemble a team. It's like, I took this team and won 6 Super Bowls. Come on, I could do this. I drafted. I signed free agents. Heck, now in the game, I even built the stadium and relocated them to London. Surely they can figure it out if I can,
Yes. And here's the thing. Some NFL teams actually run that way, like the New York Jets, right? Woody Johnson, the owner, allowed his kids to nix a trade because that specific player didn't have a high enough rating on Madden. Like, it's so hard to believe. But it does happen. And by the way, speaking of just all that and your brain goes off and it fires, I don't want to get it too deep into the recovery thing, but since everybody's settled here and pouring coffee and we got lots of time, thanks for asking how my day was yesterday. I'm teasing because you asked me this morning already, but I'll say it on the show.
Yeah.
You did. I bolted out of here right after the show, jumped in the Jeep, drove to South Beach. It's 40 miles. It was a very windy day. My soft top blew right off. Well, not off, but it was like dragging it on the I-95. I'm like, oh my God, I literally look like the Clampets rolling down I-95. Well, I had a cop beside me. He didn't say anything. I'm thinking he probably saw far worse. But the problem was, for those that don't know, I went to meet my good friend Michelle, my longtime friend Michelle. She's now at the Carrera Wellness and Treatment Center, redefining recovery and luxury in Hollywood Hills, Los Angeles, and Malibu. It's a treatment center where you go to get better, wellness. She's out here doing business. She was a volleyball player at UCLA. There, and now she's in the recovery world doing marketing. And anyways, you asked how the meeting went, and it didn't go well because guess what? What I don't know that I told you, her home was affected by the fires. I see everybody writing on social media about prayers for those in Southern California. Well, she's one of them. And she didn't know. She texted me this, she was a wreck. She canceled all her meetings. She's got her phone on CNN, worried that that her home was going to burn down, and worried about her pet. And she's out here. Can you imagine your home, a forest fire, working its way towards your house? and you're on the other side of the country and you got a pet at home. Can you imagine? That's what she was dealing with yesterday, Darren.
Unreal. I can't. I can't even, like, I'm pretty good at putting myself in other people's shoes. I can't put myself in those shoes. Like, that's
I couldn't either. No. And I offered to help. And Serena, of course, my blushing bride, said, how did it go? And I said, I'm coming home because I can't do much. And she's like, hey, I get it. Yes. And then it was 2 hours coming home fighting through traffic in South Florida. There's that. Anyways, this rolls into point 2. I got a note yesterday about this scoop that we broke. Don't let anybody tell you that it wasn't us that broke the story. We broke it so much that the other media outlets don't even know how to handle that we broke it. Chris Jones is going to the University of North Carolina. He's going back to school. You thought it was kooky that Bill Belichick's there. Now Chris Jones is joining him. I don't need to get into all not the vacillations, but the nooks and crannies of how this all went down, other than to say Jones went to Chapel Hill this week and met with them. He had never met Belichick, I understand, but Belichick liked what he saw. The linchpin, the connector in this, because we all need those connectors, is Freddie Kitchens. He was the head coach. Was he the head coach or the OC in Cleveland when Jones was there? Either way, Freddie Kitchens is the connector. He was in North Carolina. He got Jones with Belichick, and away they go. And kind of hard to believe, but here's another thing about trust. I told you about trust. When we started this show 1,410 episodes ago, we had that stone in the lobby of our office tower that said trust, because there's no more important virtue in the world in relationships than trust. And when I got that call yesterday from the guy, I trusted him. I didn't need a second or third source. And he trusted me. He's like, just report it tomorrow. Don't report it today. And I'm like, okay. So I couldn't sleep last night waiting to break this news this morning, but I was pretty sure nobody else would have it. And Chris Jones is in Chapel Hill. Like, oh, my God. See, the craziness doesn't stop, man. It's 2025, but it's just, whoop. Football, man. It's out of control.
And it's unbelievable, and going, you got these pro coaches now coming back to college in North Carolina, and, really curious to see where this goes. And it feels a lot like Deion Sanders when he was at Jackson State going to Colorado with the Buffaloes. We're all watching because we're like, we got our popcorn, and it's like, what is going to happen? What is this going to look like? How are they going to do? I think the ratings for North Carolina games are going to be off the charts, at least early in the year. We're not expecting, I don't think as football people, we're expecting them to win the ACC or challenge for the college football playoff right away. But we're all going to be watching. We're definitely going to be watching.
Oh, yeah. Which kind of rolls us into the poll question today for our friends at EMJ Marketing. They'll provide the perfect keynote speaker for your event, EMJ Marketing. Check out their roster at emjmarketing.com and then look up Joe and book the perfect keynote speaker for your event. The question is, will Belichick and Jones last long enough to coach at least one game with the University of North Carolina Tar Heels? Clark, I know you just posted it, so I don't know. Is it too early to get a 1 out of 10 polls reporting? 1 out of 100 reporting? What are they? Oh, 60% say yes. And I tweeted it here somewhere. 69% saying yes. And you know what? Put me down as a yes, Moose. Again, things are crazy. It's impossible to keep track of what's going on. Coaches going here, there, everywhere. Players in the transfer portal, you name it. That's just in college. Pro is probably at least as bad. It's very hard to keep track of. But at this point, I can't see Belichick or Jones leaving. I can't, for a variety of reasons. I think they're kind of intrigued to see what they can do there, right? And we are all intrigued to see what they can do there. I will vote that they will coach at least a game there. How about you?
Yeah, me too. I think for me, I almost consider that a slam dunk, but I don't know. We're going to see. The thing that's interesting, Belichick, there's risk of him bolting. I get that. But now that I think about it more and more about Chris Jones, when he wasn't brought back as the defensive coordinator in Hamilton, I was a little shocked because I'm like, they really turned a corner kind of at the time he came back. And they almost made the playoffs and made some noise and did their thing. simply it felt like because he came back. Now, there's a lot of other factors, but now he's in North Carolina. And if this goes well, if you're Chris Jones and Bill Belichick goes back to the NFL in, say, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons, probably taking Chris Jones with him, potentially. Just like, Jim Harbaugh took his coordinator with him, right, to LA with the Chargers. I could see that happening. It could be something that Chris Jones is interested in.
Patrolman Pete in Winnipeg writes in and says, Jones and Belichick, that's wild. Jeff the Stamps fan says, I can't imagine a more joyful locker room than one with Chris Jones and Bill Belichick together. I will.
That?
I can't speak for others. Shy in Saskatchewan writes in, he says, Belichick, one of the winningest hires. Jones, the guy who piloted a team to the worst home game record. Hey, you're never going to change people's minds on things. You just aren't.
Yes,
so you got to leave them. You got to leave them where they're at. If that's how you want to remember Chris Jones, then fill your boots. The other side of that, I'll tell you a real quick funny story. We got a lot of NFL stuff to get to. There are a lot of firings there. Tom Brady's in a bit of a small controversy. Looking ahead to NFL playoff wildcard weekend. NHL tonight. I don't feel like we're done putting them to bed last night. But when you're the head coach of a team, any team, but particularly a pro football team, it's very stressful. You don't get a minute alone. Did I ever tell you the story that me and him were the only two on a charter plane getting ready to go somewhere on a road trip? Jones was in the front row and I was in my usual seat 6D, ABC, 6C. Did I ever tell you that story?
No.
I'm like, this is my only chance to go talk to Jones one-on-one. There's nobody else around. It's just me, him, and the flight attendant and the pilot. I went up, I sat down with him, and there was a fight between his assistant GMs, Jeremy O'Day and John Murphy, over who was going to come on my show, when, and how regularly and stuff. I don't know if I ever told you that. And I'm like, Chris, we got to get this sorted out, okay? Because we got these guys fighting, and I'm in the middle of it, and I don't want to be. We need to have a guy on my show, but you're the boss, so you tell me who comes on and when. Can you? And you don't even got to tell me now, but just think about it over the next little while and let me know. And he gets back, he's like, well, he's got his shades on the plane. He's wearing his sunglasses. That will not surprise you. And he says, well, how often you on the air? I said, every day, coach. Every day. Every day. How do you not know? Every day. I said, I'm not even asking you to have a coach or assistant GM or whoever on every day. I'm just saying once a week, can you sort it out? Because I'm tired of dealing with these guys. He's like, well, leave that with me. I'll get back to you. Never heard from him about it again. Never came up again. We never sorted it out, and I think that was his last season. He was gone. But anyways, nice enough guy. He was willing to give me the time of day and answer my question, but he was the coach and GM of the Saskatchewan Roughriders of the Canadian Football League. He was a little busy, and trust me, he was not worried about who was appearing on my show, the one that he had no idea where it airs, when, how often, but he's the coach. So, yeah. We'll get to that NFL stuff. I'll tell you, the text line is open, 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. I see people are just showing up. We started 16 minutes ago. We'll be right back here on Game Plus Television, streaming live and podcast wherever the best podcasts are found.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit. As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
It may take weeks, months, or even years to get the call to be a stem cell donor. Saving lives takes commitment and dedication, just like being a hockey player. Give hope to patients in Canada. Register online at blood.ca/getswabbed and spread the word against your family and friends. We're going to flip it to football in a sec, but the Moose is here. We have questions for you. Darcy in Grand Prairie, Alberta writes in and says, Moose, is Matthew Nyes going to be on Austin Matthews' line going forward? What do you think?
Why not? I mean, they play really well together. I'd like to see it, but I'm not Craig Berube, so I can't tell you.
The easy answer. Laverne in Swift Current writes in, hey, Laverne, where's Shirley? That never gets old to me. Laverne says, great show, Rod. Jock calls a spade a spade. You call a spade a shovel. Love it. He's referring to Jock Wilson yesterday, I guess, and his thoughts on the Calgary Flames. Here's the thing about Jock and I. We don't see things the same, but that's okay. We don't hate each other because of it. I.e., he says the Flames are who we thought they were. I don't agree. I had them last place in the Pacific. And to be honest, as Ricky Bobby says, shake and bake. If you're not first, you're last. Like, if they don't make the playoffs, does it matter? If they were 1 point out of the second wild card spot or last place, does it really matter, Darren? Like, if they make the playoffs, that's a huge shock. But what do you think?
I mean, it matters in terms of trying to sell to your fan base that you're on the right track and that you're close and you're getting better. That's important as you move forward. You definitely don't want to regress. Like right now, I don't know what they're selling in places like Chicago. where you hoped this team, okay, you got Bedard, you brought in some players, you hope they would take a step forward and get better, and you can see a little bit of a progression. So I think it matters in terms of, selling your team to the fans.
Let me say something, pontificate on something for a second. Before we get to the NFL coaching carousel that's already underway and where Tom Brady's found himself somewhat under fire. The thing about this Flames business, in Canada, you can't fool the fans. I don't think you can fool the fans in Canada. You can't. And in America, you can't fool the fans with football. That's why the Dolphins fans here are so hot that they're keeping Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer, the general manager, despite missing the playoffs with a team that very clearly should have been in the playoffs. They know. Here. And in Calgary, Winnipeg, Toronto, you name it, any NHL market, shoot, Regina, where I called junior hockey games for 20 years. You can't fool them if they know the game in that market. That's why I asked you if you thought Leafs fans actually know the game, because A, I've never lived there, and B, what is there, 6 million people? Not everybody there can know hockey. In Calgary, in Edmonton, and Winnipeg, everybody knows hockey. You can't snow them. Here, everybody knows football. You can't snow them. Agree or disagree with that?
Yeah, it's, for sure. I completely agree. You get a big market, it's really difficult. But when you've grown up in it, and it's your life for a large part of, the population. Yeah, I've been around it. We've both been around it in the U.S. They know, every Uber driver, cab driver, coffee shop attendant, like everybody knows. It's similar here in hockey, but obviously Toronto, very multicultural, a lot of new Canadians, all the rest. They don't all know in a GTA of 6.8 million or whatever it is. They don't all know for sure.
That's why I wonder. But I'll tell you, the 18,000 in the Saddle Dome, they know. So it doesn't matter what I say or Jock says or anybody else, okay? As we roll, by the way, thank you, Clark, for the reminder. Sportsnet's Arash Madani is actually coming up in the next segment as per his schedule. That gives us more time of Moose and I, however. Lucky you people. So to point 3, by the way, what we've talked about already, because we're not like, pardon the interruption, where they've got it on the screen. We've talked about the NHL from last night. We've talked about Chris Jones going to the University of North Carolina, a story that we broke that none of the other media is giving us credit for. I'm used to it. I did think more of them, however. Point 3, the Las Vegas Raiders have fired Antonio Pierce after just one season as their full-time head coach. It's the latest in a line of coaching changes for the Raiders over the past several years. Pierce took over as the interim coach midway through the 2023 season and went 5-4 the rest of the way. That earned him strong player support, but the Raiders went on a 10-game losing streak this season to put his job in jeopardy. It is what it is. Another coach fired. Who cares? Happens all the time. What has me interested here, and a lot of people, is this. Minority owner Tom Brady is expected to have a role in the Raiders coaching search. So let's spend a minute on this. Everybody else is talking about that. Nobody's really talking about this. Again, minority owner Tom Brady is expected to have a role in the Raiders coaching search. He's an owner. He should be able to. Yeah, but he's also a color commentator on Fox. There's a lot of ways to look at this. I heard some pundits this morning talking about it, saying he's building up the offensive coordinator for Green Bay on the air. Tom Brady is doing color. That must mean he's trying to, raise his profile to hire him in Vegas. But where does it end? I have written here in all caps, is it a conflict of interest? The clear answer is yes. Why is this allowed to happen? And how far do you think it goes as a conflict of interest, Aaron?
Well, originally I didn't see it as a conflict of interest, and I kind of I'm starting to. I'm really starting to. The more I hear about it, that kind of stuff. I mean, fans, they're going to say those things, and they're going to believe it, and you're never going to change their minds. But, as a minority owner, what did he have, a 10% stake, all the rest? To me, it was about how involved in ownership of the Raiders is Brady. If he's an owner just so he can own part of a team and eventually acquire more later, but he's concentrating and focused on broadcasting games, I think it can be easy to separate the two and not be a conflict. But the more he's in the building in Vegas, the more he's around. Now we're seeing and hearing that he's potentially going to be a key key person in the head coaching search, and he's going to be involved in those conversations, maybe even in the interviews. Yeah, that's a conflict. Now I see it being a conflict. You got to pick a side. You can have the ownership and be on the air, but you got to pick a side as to where your attention's going. If you're involved in the football team, like actually day to day, then you can't be on the air. And if you're not, then stay on the air. But yeah, it's becoming a conflict.
So did you think that it was okay until you started to think about it? Like, what changed your mind?
I think it was okay, from the outset, like own part of the team, sure. But like, we're not expecting you to be very involved as a minority 10% owner. It's an investment or whatever. That I didn't really have a problem with. But when you start hearing that he's going to be involved with that football team, actually, dictating the direction they're going, now it's a conflict.
Well, I always knew it was going to be. So thanks for showing up. Like, I just Googled Las Vegas Raiders franchise value, $6.7 billion. That's with a B. $6.7 billion. You just said he owns 10% of that, which he does, along with his business partner. Do you know what 10% of $6.7 billion is? I'll do the math. Yeah. $670 million is Tom Brady's share of the Las Vegas Raiders. This ain't no willy-nilly thing, which, by the way, it's not just Tom. When they say Tom and his business partner, he's the money guy, probably from here in Florida, that's put the money up, and Tom's just put his name on it. It happens all the time. But anyways, be that as it may, this is no small thing for Tom. It's no small thing for the Raiders. And I kind of heard Florio going off about it on Pro Football Talk this morning, and I just wondered how many people care, because I know I really care. I really care, and I'm a Tom Brady fan. What I think, as a matter of fact, I know, is the NFL and all the owners are willing to just look the other way because it's Tom Brady. That happens, and that's part of the reason why everybody hates him. Rules don't apply to him. I'm sorry, but that's life, people. There are different rules for different people, and if you're Tom Brady, you get to play by your own set. I don't make the rules. Patrolman Pete in Winnipeg says it feels like just yesterday, NFL franchise values cracked $1 billion. It is like out of control. And by the way, sure, that's what the value is. We all get that, right? That's not saying Tom wrote a check with his buddy for $670 million, but that's on paper, that's what it's worth. It's probably far less than that. But you get what I'm saying. And I'll tell you one thing. Last year at Super Bowl, this shocked the heck out of me. Tom Brady wasn't there. I'm rolling around going to these events. You know me. You've been with me. I go everywhere. Kind of hoping to find Tom Brady. He was nowhere to be found. He wasn't there. Would it be kind of hard to believe that you could have a Super Bowl, but Tom Brady isn't there? But there's just so much stuff going on. Arash is coming up next. He was there too. I wonder if he noticed. But Tom, he's like, I'll take a knee. I'll sit this one out. I've been to enough Super Bowls. But anyways, I just think it's like college football. There's so much sleazy crap going on, and has been forever, that the networks and the schools, they just look the other way. They just look the other way. That's what's going on here. And will always go on here. I don't think they're going to make Tom make a decision on this.
No, but I think something's coming. I think there's a decision going to come one way or another. And for me, again, the conflict comes down to how are you spending your time and where is your attention? And, if he wants to have more focus and attention on building that football team and building that out and maybe one day acquiring more and more ownership, then he's going to leave the broadcasting behind and focus. I mean, right now he's kind of straddling both, and we'll see where it goes. I know the broadcasting has been one thing, but he's going to call the Super Bowl. We know that this year, and then we'll see what happens moving forward.
I'll ask Arash about this. He's coming up next. Laverne's chimed in again with the comment that I'm here for. He says, so the Bruins-Oilers game last night, Zadorov runs Stuart Skinner, received a 2-minute penalty. Skinner wanted to stay in, but the spotters say, no, you have concussion protocol. Oilers put Pickard in. Did not know this rule that there are 5 pucks in the penalty box that the Oilers could have used to warm up Pickard. Apparently, that's an NHL rule. Did not know that. Were you aware of that rule? Which rule, bro? That the spotters have the ability to pull you out, or that there's 5 pucks in the penalty box to warm the goalie up? Of course I knew that. What I did think, again, I'm looking at this from a goalie perspective, and what I've realized recently is somebody's got to look at things from a goalie's perspective. There's nothing, nobody else does. So when I saw Zadorov come in and drill Skinner, I'm like, okay, should be open season on Swayman at the other end. And I know that sounds, what, you're advocating that they run Jeremy Swayman? Yes, I am. Sorry. I don't assume you're, no, as a matter of fact, I'm sure you didn't get the orders in Bruins game, but eye for an eye out in the street, not good. Eye for an eye on the ice or on the field, it's the way it should be, the way it's always been. It's called the code, and I believe in the code. Do you believe in the code?
Hey, there is a code. Yeah, I believe in a code for sure. It exists.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I'll see you in hour 2. Smoke him if you got him.
Okay, we'll see you in a bit.
Arash Madani joins us next. We're live on the Game Plus television network, streaming live and podcasts wherever the best podcasts are found.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house. Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
Hi, my name is Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
From cash spiels to grand slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hour one of the RP Show brought to you by Culligan Regina. Drink clean, live green, filter your water for a healthier tomorrow. Culligan Water of Regina. Visit them at culliganregina.com. Sportsnet's Arash Madani, good enough to join us. It looks like he made it back from Detroit alive. How you doing, my dude? Happy New Year.
To you too, my man. Made it out of Detroit alive. Better than I can say for the mighty Minnesota Vikings.
Are you glad you went in retrospect or not, given the egg they laid that night at Ford Field?
I had to go. Lifelong fan, 14 wins, everything on the line. Come on, like if we're not going to go to games like this, what's the point of fandom,
Yeah. How you feeling about Monday night at the Rams?
Roddy, honestly, I have no idea. I really don't. How are we going to deal with their front? How is the mighty Minnesota secondary going to deal with Puka Nacua? I don't know. Did Detroit draw up a blueprint on how to slow down Sam Darnold by not giving him a lot of time in the pocket and just continuing to hit him and hit him and hit him? To me, there are two really intriguing games this weekend. One is that one in LA, and the other one is Green Bay and Philadelphia. And
the Eagles, yeah.
Yeah, look, Jordan Love, okay, the groin's an issue. That's going to hurt every time he tries to throw it. It looks like Watson's out for the year. That takes away his home run hitter. Can Green Bay really play cover 2 against Philly? Because that just opens up so many options for Saquon. Those are the two that I really kind of have highlighted. Because and of course, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, because AFC North, third time through, should be great.
Did you ever think there was a chance that Saquon Barkley would play last weekend and go after the Eric Dickerson record? I did not, and was not surprised when Nick Sirianni came out, I think, on Wednesday to say they were going to sit him down. Even some football people thought that he was going to play. There was no way.
Yeah, there was no way. And also, I don't know where you stand on this, Rod. I just don't know about records anymore. Dickerson did it in 16 games. Saquon and company now have 17. They're about to expand to an 18-game season before we know it. What does that then mean for records, and especially single-season records? Is it really the same? To me, the 16-game mark is where it kind of cuts off, and Saquon wasn't there anyway.
Yep, great point. By the way, back to that. Yeah, no, I never thought of it that way, but that's just another reason for him not to play. I think records are cool, as you know, though. But that Rams team, your Vikes are going up against Monday night. They are not, even just 4 years ago, they won the Super Bowl. I feel like there's no almost remnants of that team. They're not the same team.
Well, you think about that game itself. The player that lit up Cincinnati in the first half, Odell Beckham Jr., is long gone. The defensive player that won it for them on the last play of the game, Aaron Donald, has retired. It's amazing how quickly things change in pro sports and pro football, especially. Win when you can, because you just never know when it's going to happen. Look, Sean McVay's offensive coordinator that day is Kevin O'Connell. Now he's the head coach in Minnesota. He's going up against him this week. So a lot can change, and a lot can change in a hurry.
Bill Belichick's coaching at North Carolina, and he's being joined by Chris Jones. If there was ever a thumbnail for how crazy this game has gotten, man, it's right there.
Look, if that doesn't sum up football, what does? Right? Right around the same time the Rams were winning the Super Bowl, Chris Jones accepted a high school job in his hometown. And he said, that's it. I'm done with the pros. I'm finished. The next thing you know, he's the head coach and GM. The next thing you know, he's working for free in Hamilton. Everybody expected him back with the Tiger Cats, but that didn't happen only because Ryan Dinwiddie and Brent Monson couldn't get to the finish line on a contract, and now suddenly Jones is working for Bill Belichick. Wild. By the way, great scoop. Nice job.
How about that?
I appreciate that, man. And last night I was driving home from South Beach. I'm on I-95 at a traffic. My phone's going crazy. I'm like, what? Guys, I got a scoop for you. You're not going to believe this. I'm like, oh, my God. It's awesome, man. It's awesome. By the way, on the college game, what's your interest level in the semifinals Thursday, Friday? Pretty high, I'm sure.
It honestly, Roddy, I was thinking about this just last night. It isn't. Like, I'm the guy who, loves college football, loves college basketball. I'm the guy who actually holds an annual New Year's Day get-together with a bunch of fellas in a get-together in a private room and blah, blah, blah. Every national championship Monday night, get-together with a group of guys. I don't know if it's the expanded playoff. I don't know if it's that the games have really just lacked across the board other than Arizona State, Texas. I don't know if it's just too spread out and too long, lost in the shuffle with the NFL and the NFL playoffs. I mean, I'll have it on tonight, but I'm not like excited about it. I'm not looking forward to it. Like, it's weird.
Well, if you didn't have a connection, and really for me, Sarkisian, I called his games, right? So I'm going to cheer for the Longhorns. God knows how long he's going to be in Austin for. Here's one for you, though.
Yeah.
A.J. Jakubik's coming down here for the Orange Bowl.
Is he really?
Called me. He's like, do you have any interest in going to the Orange Bowl? I'm like, how about no? Especially not at $300 U.S. minimum per ticket. What'd you pay in Detroit, if you don't mind me asking, for the biggest regular season game in NFL history?
I was fortunate. I was able to get in for face value, although face value at Ford Field is even north of that. I'll tell you this, Rod, I bet you'll be able to get into the Orange Bowl about an hour before for $50. I think there's going to be thousands of good tickets still available.
Probably. But I just said to AJ, you have fun. I'm not going. You could be doing some pretty cool stuff around here every night, as you know. Hey, the Leafs have won 5 in a row.
Yeah.
How do we feel about that?
You know, honestly, Rod, my sense on the state of the Leafs living in Toronto is kind of, okay, like, wake me up when the playoffs roll around. Like, be healthy, get through it, figure out whatever it is that's going on with this Austin Matthews thing. And then in April, let's see where, let's roll the pucks out and let's go. I mean, I was saying this to somebody the other day. I think there's just as good a chance that the Leafs are playing in Game 6 of the conference final as there is Toronto getting eliminated in the first round again. I mean, it's such an unknown. Are they going to be healthy? Are they going to have the goaltending? What's the matchup going to be? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That, at this point, early, mid-January is just like, okay, sure, fine. Let's see what they're at in the spring. I think that's kind of the sentiment right now.
Well, Leaf fans, would you agree? I see it from the outside. I've never lived there. Are all over the place. So there's a lot of people that are like you. Show me, right? Come playoff time. And there are others that just get frothing at the mouth. 5-game win streak. That's pretty cool. Like, they're literally all over the place in that town. And Leafs Nation.
Well, sure. The range is wild. There's no doubt. But at some point, they have to do something in the postseason. And so, look, it's hard to know what's going on with Matthews. It's twice now he's left with an injury that appears to be the same, if not similar. He's already gone to Germany to get treatment on it. He's back. For how long? That's part of the question. He's the engine of this thing. And the other part is the goaltending. Like, they just don't have a quote-unquote number one goaltender. They just don't. And will that be good enough in the playoffs? We'll see. I mean, that's really it, Everybody likes to point at the flaws on teams. And when I was doing baseball, everybody would always say, the Jays like this, Jays like that. Sure. But guess what? Every other team has flaws too, Like, we started talking about the NFL. KC started the year 15-1. This might be the most flawed Kansas City team in the Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones era. But you just got to find a way to win. And those guys have, and the Leafs have to find a way to do it.
As you know, it's so freaking delicate. The right mix, right chemistry, getting hot at the right time. Fans just think if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Well, yeah,
Okay,
and like
man. Any
football
last thoughts?
football comes down to 5 plays, and hockey can come down to a couple of bounces and a rebound and a ricochet and a deflection and all those kinds of things.
A call.
A call. I'll say this, Rod. If not for the Zay Flowers injury, I would tell you the best team going into the tournament is Baltimore. I think they're really going to miss Flowers. He's their most explosive, threat. But Derrick Henry, not Travis. Derrick Henry, over 2,000 all-purpose yards this season. This is why they signed him. The other is, where's the CFL schedule? I was looking it up. It was like December 13th, 2 years ago, December 13th. The 2023 schedule came out. And now here we are, the second week of January, and it's nowhere to be seen. The beginning of new beginnings.
If you can't say anything, I'm like, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything. That doesn't work real well in the sports media business, but I just not talking about it. All right. Happy New Year, man. I hope we can do it soon. Good luck with the Vikes.
All right, bud. Talk to you soon.
All right. Sportsnet's national reporter, Arash Madani. Coming right back with a sports update after this. And viewer takeover. We're live on Game Plus TV. Streaming live and podcast wherever the best podcasts are found.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers, Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with The Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. It's the mini overtime. The intermission? No. That's the break at the top of the hour. From the audience, I apologize. There are a couple of questions came in for Arash during the interview, and I didn't see them till now. Chad in Lethbridge writes in and says, question for Arash, what does it take for the Jays to sign Vladdy? They have no problem offering Soto and Ohtani, but not their homegrown talent. They need to get it done and sign another free agent, and time's ticking. My suggestion on that is Vladdy ain't going anywhere, and they will empty the bank when it comes time to re-sign Vladdy. I don't think he's going anywhere. Listen, I do follow the Blue Jays. Hey, I was just with Joe Girardi yesterday, and I saw him this morning in the gym. I'm a baseball announcer, didn't you know?
How about that?
So, and by the way, I get what you're saying. Vladdy is the star, but just because, here's the owners, just because we offered that to these two guys doesn't mean that's meant for you. So, chill. They would say that and not necessarily that way. And that's why I'm not a general manager or an owner, because I only have one way of saying it, direct, right between the eyes. Max in Toronto writes in, he says, does Arash have any interest in being the CFL commissioner? And I apologize again, I didn't see that till now, but I again will answer that for Arash and say, how about no?
Oh, no.
Sports update, Alex Ovechkin continues his pursuit of Wayne Gretzky's all-time goals record when the Washington Capitals host the Vancouver Canucks in NHL play tonight. Ovi has 872 career goals, needs 23 to surpass the great one. Also tonight, the Calgary Flames visit the LA Kings. We'll be playing NHL breakaway bets next hour. Toronto Raptors are in New York facing the Knickerbockers tonight. Toronto's lost 2 straight, 9 of its last 10, and sports a 1-15 road record. Knicks have dropped 3 in a row. The sports update brought to you by Landmark Cinemas. In Landmark Cinemas now, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Sonic the Hedgehog returns to the big screen in his most thrilling adventure yet. Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. Apparently, Bob Irving is joining them. Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails reunite against a powerful new adversary, Shadow, a mysterious villain with powers unlike anything they have faced before. Starring Idris Elba, Keanu Reeves, and Jim Carrey. Sonic the Hedgehog in Landmark Cinemas now. See you after this break.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Esteban and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
I was born to broadcast. So the World Juniors 2012, I'm calling the national radio feed. I'm sitting there in the press box of the Saddle Dome like this, playing Pac-Man on my phone. Ray Ferraro, he's like, "Are you kidding me?" And I'm like, "What are you doing?" "I'm playing Pac-Man on my phone." "I just died." And he goes, "Don't you have game prep to get ready for the game or something?" "No, I know the numbers. I know everything about them. Let's get the game going."
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
It's hour 2 of your favorite daytime sports talk show. It's your boy RP here. And your boy DD joins us. We got so much going on here. Hey, you look very relaxed. Do you want to adjust your screen or just... Okay, I'm glad that you're relaxed. That's very good. That comforts me.
Good.
There you go. They're moving you. Producer Clark
put
says.
me in a relaxed
Well, we
mood.
got our... Hey, my girl, Michelle, told me last night from the Carrera Wellness and Treatment Center in Malibu. She said, "You have a very calm energy about you, but you always have." She said that. So it wasn't news, Darren. It wasn't breaking news. You have a very calm energy. I know I do. Thank you. I'm very proud of that. I'll put it on my business card, which reminds me, a couple things. We got our Rash Madani out of the way. We do one guest per day. He's been with us already, so it's Moose and I for most of hour 2. Number 2, stick with me. You and everybody else out there watching in TV land. A smart man learns from his own mistakes. A wise man learns from others' mistakes. Therefore, then you wouldn't make any. So I'm listening to Mike Florio this morning on Pro Football Talk, and he's just ranting and raving and going off like he does every day about how it's not like it used to be. He's a mid to late 50s lawyer, originally from West Virginia, hosts Pro Football Talk, and you people see him on Sunday Night Football. Sunday night, Football Night in America on NBC. Listen to him every morning. And just so you know, Darren, he was very closely coming off as a curmudgeon today, saying, it used to be, when we were growing up, if you lied on your resume, you're done. You can't do that. Now it's people do it all the time, and nobody cares. It's just like going off about how just things aren't how they used to be. And I'm like, I don't want to be that guy. Get with the program. You know what I'm saying? Let's just let's get in the flow. That guy in Happy Gilmore, Kevin Nealon, that dude was right. Yes. Give the ball a little tap, just a little tap, Happy. Take the ball home. That guy was right. We all thought he was nuts. So just so you know, so my point on all that, land the plane, Rod. We'll get into what we've talked about so far in a moment, but I'm searching the social media in the break, which I kind of shouldn't and don't want to do, but kind of have to do. And all the NHL media, particularly those around here in South Florida, are going nuts. Everybody's jumping all over each other to say, sources say that the Florida Panthers are going to host the Winter Classic next year, and it's going to be January 2nd, and it's going to be against the New York Rangers. And some guys are really putting their balls on the line, because if they're wrong, they're going to look pretty silly until tomorrow, because society forgets. But we're waiting on an announcement, supposed to be this week, maybe next, from Gary Bettman, that we're going to have an outdoor game here in South Florida. That's the exciting part. But what I'm saying is all the media now has joined the party. The guys that and girls that don't normally care about the NHL at all are now saying, sources say this. They're all saying different things, so they can't all be right. So I'm just sitting back waiting on the announcement, because when it does happen, it's going to be pretty damn cool that the Panthers are going to be playing in Lone Depot Park. But why the Panthers, as you see, I'm wearing my Panthers colored gear because I'm doing a Panthers show later today. Why their fans love me so much is that I'm hockey first on that show. Like when the Dolphins, Tyreek Hill farts, they're all dropping everything and running down to Hard Rock Stadium to see what he has to say about it. Right? And they leave the Panthers. No. We're hockey first. Hockey number one. And they like that. And it's pretty cool that Tampa Bay is going to get a outdoor game too, it sounds like. I'm just kind of going off on a little bit of a monologue and a tangent here, so you can stop me at any time. From the audience, Darren, a couple things. Well, Rich in Edmonton says the Leafs seem different this year, even without Austin Matthews. Craig Berube seems to be rubbing off in a positive way. They won their 5th in a row last night at Philly. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would. They're not blowing teams out or dominating like that, but they're just more mature. They're finding ways to win, and even when they don't play their best. Yeah, it does look different. Power play, struggling, awful, and that's why they need to get that cleaned up, but penalty kills better, scoring more goals, allowing less. They're doing a lot of things better under Craig Berube.
You said maturing. That's a great thing. Yeah. I've come so far and matured in a lot of ways. I'm not getting in these childish fights that go on in the media because, again, everybody's fighting over who said what, who said it first, who are the sources, who told you. No. With the scoop that I broke that Arash Madani said last hour, good scoop, by the way, that Chris Jones is joining Bill Belichick at North Carolina, but other media outlets, particularly 3 Down Nation, won't give me credit for it. I don't know what their problem is. They used to. They don't anymore. Did I do something? Pretty sure I didn't. But that's what's nice, to be honest, about not being on a rights holder, TV station, radio station, what have you. There's one guy here in town, Andy Slater, and you might want to write it down, Clark, because I want to get him on this show. See if he's available. Andy Slater, Fox Sports 640. He breaks news all the time and gives his opinion. He doesn't care. He's got his own talk show, and nobody's going to say anything to him. I want to get him on the air if you don't mind. He'd be a big guest. Andy Slater, Fox Sports 640 here in South Florida. He's very good. I listen to his show all the time. Why? Because it's the truth. You're not getting the pablum fed to you that the teams are trying to peddle to you. Anyways, we talked last hour about the code. I was watching the Bruins-Oilers game last night, and when Nikita Zadorov ran Stuart Skinner, and let's be honest, he did, knocked his mask off, I thought, okay, well, Jeremy Swayman better watch his head. And by the way, I'm the goalie guy. I'm sticking up for the goalies, but it's eye for an eye. You're going to run this guy, then you better watch out. That's the way it's always been, and I don't have a problem with that. And if I read you right, Darren, you didn't have a problem with it either. Which, by the way, the Oilers did not run Jeremy Swayman, but they will one day. I do think they will. Tony from Cochrane, Alberta writes in, he says, don't even get me going on the code. When I played, nobody even got away with spraying snow or ice at my goalie, let alone run him. Can I tell you a funny story? I played hockey. That's why I'm a goalie guy. We won the provincial midget championships in 1989. Stop living in the past, Al Bundy. And played senior hockey, too, when it was a thing. I used to love getting snowed. I know a lot of our American listeners are like, what the hell is that? That's when the guy's skating real fast up to you and then stops and sprays you with snow. I run hot, as you know, Darren. I sweat like a pig. I'm always hot. So when some guy snowed me, I would stand up smiling and go, thank you. Because it felt great, and it totally spoiled what they were trying to do. Did you ever snow a goalie?
I'm sure I have. I don't know that I've ever done it intentionally, but I've definitely done it. I was a forward. I was around the net all the time. Yeah, of course. And most of the time, I think you would tell me, like, guy's coming down and he's coming in quick. You close your eyes because you kind of anticipate the snow coming, right? You don't need the ice shards in your eyes and that kind of thing. So I don't think it's too bad, but yeah, most goalies got to be ready for it.
Well, goalies, you're taught to hate it. And I was like, wait a minute, this feels good. Interesting thing about my dad, who was a southpaw goalie and caught with his right hand. His defenseman would say to me, oh, God, your dad, man, he doesn't care. You got to get out of his way because he'll slash your ankles. He doesn't care if he plays on your team or not. You get in your dad's way, he's slashing your ankles. Doesn't matter what team you're on. That was my dad. It was damn cool. He had one of those old fiberglass masks like you saw Jacques Plante wear. And in between periods, he would take it off and stuff it down his pad. And then he'd let me sit on his knee. Best time of my life. Regarding the scoop of Chris Jones going to join Bill Belichick at the University of North Carolina, please do not adjust your sets. Yes. I repeat, Chris Jones is joining Bill Belichick at the University of North Carolina. Scoop broken here by this show. Tony from Cochrane, Alberta, the same Tony writes in, and he says, Bill Belichick making $10 million a year, guaranteed for 5 years in the ACC, Atlantic Coast Conference. Wonder what Chris Jones will be making. CFL coaches make around 100,000 Canadian a year. Damn sure he'll make multiple times that. No. Last I checked, CFL coaches, unless it's changed, are like 300, 350 range Canadian dollars, which have you seen the dollar lately? But again, don't get hung up on money, bro. Wayne in Victoria, BC writes in here, and he's like, I guess Belichick and Jones need money. You guys got to stop being fixated on money because I know Jones doesn't need the money, and I'm damn sure Belichick doesn't. It's about doing the job. But you know what? It's a mental shift. So I'll stop. Like, it's just a mindset thing. Do you work for money or do you work? What is it? Live to work or work to live? Right? Not even work to these guys.
No.
BW. Yeah. BW in Edmonton writes in. Oh, it's 1:11 Eastern. 1:11 Eastern, 11:11 Mountain.
They're not.
Visualize a positive outcome. They're good.
Now they're
beautiful.
The Angels are having a nap. BW in Edmonton says Skinner said after the hockey game that the player apologized on the next play. Zadorov? I mean, once he got out of the penalty box. The Barflies writes in, he says, couldn't care less about the Chris Jones story. Well, you cared enough to write about it. I'm just being the Karen. Those are the comments that came. Rich in Edmonton says, I don't listen to the rights holders anymore. Spoon-fed, sugar-coated info like it's the team's PR department. That's what it is. And a lot of people like it, but you will notice that when you listen to somebody that's telling the truth, you can tell, and it sounds better. At least that's how I feel. Jeremy in Winnipeg writes in, he says, the Bengals fans sure thinking the Chiefs threw the game so that they didn't get in. Chiefs are competitors. You can't tell me they didn't want them in. They wanted them in. They want to go through the front door. From Jay. No, they didn't throw the game, but they played all their backups. They lost 38-0. To be honest, I'd be pissed off too if I was a Bengals fan, or for that matter, a Dolphins fan. Not like the Dolphins did anything to help their case. But throwing games is a major, major, major topic in the National Football League. Like, Major. And by the way, you wouldn't believe the lengths they go to find out, to determine if you did throw a game or not. They weren't throwing a game. They lost 38-0 in Denver. Let's not forget how much Denver wanted to win, by the way. But you know what? That's fans. To use some of my friends' terminology, if you'd handled your business, you wouldn't be in that position. But people just want to blame game and point fingers and not take responsibility, right? The Bengals fans, as far as I'm concerned, Darren, have no right to point the finger at anybody other than their own defense and general manager. How about you?
Well, if this was like college football, the Bengals would be in the playoffs. They're one of the best teams in the National Football League and probably would do quite well in the playoffs. But the problem is it's not college football. It's wins and losses only.
Yeah.
And when you start, what were they, 4-8 at one point in the season? That's why you're not in the playoffs, because you didn't win early when it mattered. You didn't win enough games, period. And that's why it's great. And for the Chiefs, you don't think Carson Wentz wanted to put up some points and play well? If he wants to revitalize his career and become a starting quarterback again, yeah, he's playing with the backups. I get that. But if he went out and shone and played well and elevated those backups, he might be looking at a bigger contract. He might be looking at being a starting quarterback next year. But he's not. And now you got to look at it and say, is he really the backup too? I don't know. But yeah, the players were like, they didn't throw the game. They didn't play good players, and Denver wanted to win. End of story.
I'm going to get down on my knees and pray to the baby football Jesus altar that Joe Burrow wins NFL MVP on a team that missed the playoff. And Darren, we're going to have a party. And we're going to invite all the CFL media. Because, my God, because he's in the conversation. I'm hearing it, but I don't know if they would do it. But what I'm not hearing is the argument from those, oh, there's no way he could be the MVP. His team missed the playoffs. That will piss me off that Bo Levi Mitchell didn't win it in the CFL this year till the day I die.
There's
but
the
he's
meme.
Probably not going to. What? Why? What is it?
Write it down in the group chat, Clark. That'll piss me off. That Bo Levi didn't win MVP till the day I die.
Nah, that's not on. Well, yeah. We'd have to fiddle with that and roll back the tape.
Yes.
Something I want to read here that I didn't even get to. I'm wondering if the audience has noticed the difference in format here in 2025 as past years. One guest, more conversational, Darren and I, a little more all over the road, but more time to spend on the topics rather than just skim. Point 4, the impressive feats from the NFL's 2024 rookie quarterback class will carry over into the postseason. Washington's Jaden Daniels and Denver's Bo Nix are expected to make their playoff debuts on Sunday in a rare case of two rookie starting quarterbacks in the same postseason. While there are a few examples of fill-in rookies getting the nod in the playoffs, this will be just the fourth time that two rookie quarterbacks start in the same postseason after making at least 6 starts during the regular season. The question is, can a rookie quarterback make that much of a difference? Clearly they did in those locales, Washington and Denver. Can they in New York? Can they in New England? Can they in Tennessee? Because we haven't really got to this, what you think your Titans should do with the number 1 overall pick. So we got NHL breakaway bets to get to, more on the Chris Jones scoop, and a lot of audience participation. We are live on Game Plus TV, streaming live and podcasts wherever the best podcasts are found.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit. As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Okie dokie, the RP show continues, and sports fans, join the Rod Squad newsletter today. Stay ahead of the game with exclusive insights, updates, contests, and exclusive content delivered straight to your inbox. That includes my 10 weekend things column if you're lucky, Moose DuPont's 10 things, maybe Scruffy's this and that too. It's whatever we feel like. I just know it's always good. Sign up for free today at rodpeterson.com. Let's please bring the Moose in. Brought to you in part by a variety of wonderful sponsors, including Culligan Regina, Access Communications, Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, you name it. 902-518-3033 is the number to reach us here in the studio. I guess now would be a good time to play breakaway bets. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
You ready for that? I should have been
going. I'm on a roll.
Reading the comments. Yeah, you're on a roll. I should have been reading comments in the break instead of Mickey Mousing around on social media. It's such a flippin' black hole of time. Oh my, it's embarrassing. Colt writes in from San Diego and says, who was shocked that the Las Vegas Raiders fired their head coach? Covered it last hour. The unfortunate thing about that, we didn't really get into this.
There's more on that.
Tell me what? What?
Well, it popped up as a notification. I don't know. Maybe you talked about it with Arash and I missed it. But it popped up as a notification for me that apparently Tom Brady was talking to Bill Belichick about the Raiders head coaching job. The Score had it on a notification. And so apparently he called Belichick to find out what it would take to get him to leave UNC or not start there and come to Vegas.
I have a very tough time believing that to be true because everything that I've heard. And, okay, do you realize The whole 6 degrees of separation concept is a wonderful concept. My friend Mydale Mike, the oil man, doesn't believe in it, but he says you celebrities are all connected, but the common man is not. I don't know about that. But I broke the story that Chris Jones is joining Belichick in North Carolina. So all I'm saying is I'm pretty close to the scene of all of this. And if you follow the line of what went on in New England, whatever triggered Belichick to get rid of Tom Brady, it was a decision in Bill Belichick's mind to get rid of Tom Brady. They felt Tom Brady was a problem. As a matter of fact, Bill Belichick apparently convinced the owner, Robert Kraft, that Brady was done and washed up. I believe that narrative. I don't believe this one, that Tom Brady's trying to lure Bill. Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes, and he says, Brady hates Belichick. You said it far more delicately than I was trying, more clearly than I was trying to say it. Brady hates Belichick. I don't believe he's trying to get him anywhere. Beware the fake news. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, well, Rod, I love how the show is right now. Sorry, but other than only one guest per show, I didn't notice much difference. See, it's very subtle. That's how I affect your mind. Chris Jarl writes in and says, reminds me of the old bunker days, the bunker days. Not Archie Bunker, folks. No, not All in the Family, when we were in the bunker back in the Queen City. Colton San Diego says, how about the BC Lions re-signing kicker Sean White? How about it? Okay, Darren, let's go. Actually, before we go any further, because we're going to veer off here to breakaway bets, I should update the poll question. It is brought to you by our good friends at EMJ Marketing. Transform your audience with speakers from the EMJ Marketing Speakers Bureau. By the way, it's still pinned to our profile. Yesterday's poll question, are the Habs back? 69% of you saying no, they're not. I'll just get that out of the way. And today's poll question, will Belichick and Jones last long enough to coach a game with University of North Carolina football? You and I both voted yes, right? I know I did. You did?
Yep.
64% saying yes, they will last long enough to coach a game, despite the fact, just imagine this, bro. Bill Belichick interviewed 2 weeks ago in Jacksonville, which I'm not even sure it's even an interview at this point. But he was on the boat of the owner, Shad Khan. It's been reported in a lot of places. I also got some personal details on that aren't that important, other than to say Bill had his 24-year-old girlfriend there. I still haven't quite figured that out, but I haven't spent a lot of time on it. But just imagine, Darren. It's not an out of the realm question to say, will they even be around to coach a game in August when their season starts? Because the guy hasn't coached a game yet, and he's already talking to owners of NFL teams. Like, if you caught your better half interviewing other candidates for your role, how would you feel? It's so screwed up.
Not great. Not great. Doesn't matter what's real and what's not. The fact is, like, where there's smoke, there's fire, and where there's rumors, there's some truth to it. And yeah, it wouldn't make you feel good until he's on the field coaching. And even then, you wonder, is it one and done? Two and done? The second there's an offer in the NFL, a real offer that fits, he's gone. You have to believe it.
Okay. Bring it back for a second. If 1 year ago, January the 8th, Elvis's birthday, 2024, somebody said, 1 year from now and 365 days, Bill Belichick will be the head coach at the University of North Carolina with the Tar Heels. And just wait. Also on his staff is Chris Jones. What the hell would you say? You would have taken the guy to the funny farm. You said, You've lost your cheese is slipping off your cracker, buddy. Here, come here. It actually happened. Oh, stop and think about it.
We're
Tony
only 8 days into 2025.
What else could happen? Oh, my God. Don't strike me down. Tony from Cochrane, Alberta, has brought some great stuff today. He says, I'm not a Belichick fan either. First thing he did as Browns coach was cut the legend Bernie Kosar. Well, at least we're not living in the past, right? At least we're over it. Okay. Now to get serious. Darren is leading me. I'm keeping a running tally on my page. Darren's leading me 18-15 in our NHL breakaway picks. The winner will get a free buffet at the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Ooh.
What would you like? What should we put up for the winner?
Yeah, a Golden Corral buffet next time we see each other.
Okay. The Palm
Kennel
Beach
Club
Kennel
would be
Club
great.
buffet. It's good.
Yeah.
You got to see it. It's like the Four Seasons. For those of you that are watching in Saskatchewan, you know my 909 Arcola Avenue East, the Four Seasons Sports Palace. If you pick that up and dropped it in West Palm Beach, that's what it is. Clientele's the same, food's the same, TV wall's the same, except there's a dog racing track in the back. And a few more palm trees. Other than that, that's what it is. And I love it.
Yep.
My friends are teasing me down here that I love it so much. And I'm like, I don't need high budget. I'm not high budget. I don't need to go to the Hard Rock Casino to watch NFL football where they got waterfalls and white tigers and fireworks and dancing girls and midgets and unicorns. I don't need that. I just need a nacho chili bar and my friends. Joe from Buffalo sitting at the next table having a conversation, you know? That's what it is, Darren. A lot of sweatpants. Okay. Vancouver at Washington tonight in the National Hockey League. Can I go?
Washington. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, me too. Okay.
Jump the gun.
Well, as Darren and I said, I feel like we got to go around the corner like we're checking the box for the presidential election.
Maybe we got to submit them to producer Clark.
Let me think about it. But for today's purposes, we'll continue. Colorado at Chicago.
Colorado.
Yeah, they're on a roll. They're on a roll. Chicago's not. The Florida Panthers at the Utah somethings. Can I go first? I think the Panthers will win.
Okay, I'll take Utah.
Okay. Kevin Stenlund will receive his Stanley Cup ring. He was on the 2023-24 Florida Panthers. And Jameson Olive, the senior reporter from FloridaPanthers.com, told me, as I'm talking to you right now, actually it was in person actually, that Stenlund's the last guy left. The Panthers, when they played in Toronto, took Oliver Ekman-Larsson his ring, Anthony Stolarz his ring, and Steven Lorenz his ring. When they went into Seattle, they took Brandon Montour his ring and Josh Mahura. When they went to Calgary, they gave Ryan Lomberg his. There's only one guy left, Kevin Stenlund, and he'll get his Stanley Cup ring tonight. It's kind of nice that they did that, hand-delivering it, which, just so you know, that's how the Panthers do things. They are face-to-face. They're up front. Actually, I was talking to a guy today, a football guy in Vegas. I'm not going to mention his name, but we were talking about the military input of these teams. Vinny Viola, the owner of the Panthers, West Point guy, Army. Bill Foley in Vegas, same thing. That's how they do stuff. Their word is their bond. Because in the military, unlike sports and media, if you screw around, somebody could die. Just so you know. And look who the two winningest teams are right now. The last two Stanley Cup winners. They don't play. Speaking of something, the Calgary Flames are with the Los Angeles Kings tonight. Let me guess, you're going to take the Kings.
I'm going to take the Kings, yeah.
Okay. The only disparity we have is the Florida-Utah game. And to be honest, the only reason I'm taking Calgary to lose is because they played last night, and they won in overtime. Is that still a thing? Back-to-back? I feel like it's not as much of a thing as it used to be.
It's not, but it is. Like at the same time, it's tough to win back-to-back games. It is. But you're right. It doesn't seem like it's as big of a deal because also at the same time, we're not playing goalies back to back. You're always seeing a fresh netminder the next night, it feels like. So teams have that in their back pocket.
Oh, yeah. That's such a goofy thing. From the audience, Jeff the Stamps fan writes in. He says, Colorado brought Kadri his ring to the Saddle Dome, I remember. Oh, yeah. I'm not saying the Panthers invented it. I'm just saying that's what they do. BW in Edmonton says, get producer Clark in a third window in the middle, revealing each pick. But he goes, but I'm just a trucker. Yeah, you drive your truck, but I appreciate the help. We've tried to get Clark on the air. He says it doesn't work. So there's that. Those are our picks. Darren's leading me 18-15 on the year. And the winner will get a Golden Corral buffet in Coral Gables, Florida, which is the place that I took Darren last time you were here. And do you remember what you had? It was $13.99 a person. What did you have?
Oh, I had so many of those shrimp. I had lots of shrimp. I had a little bit of everything. And then I remember I had 2 helpings of the red velvet cake at the end of the dish, at end of dinner. So good.
Approved.
I had 3 steaks, a taco, and 2 pieces of red velvet cake.
Oh.
And I felt like $1 million.
Yeah.
I guess I'll let you go unless you want to stick around for another segment. Is there anything else you would like to say?
No, we covered a lot of ground today. I'm liking the new format, and it's good we get to dive into some of these topics.
I'm glad you're happy. If you're happy, I'm happy. And the reason I'm going to let you go is we have a lot of comments from the viewers.
Yeah.
El Sasko comes to mind. Kirk in Toronto. We got a sports update. We got a lot of stuff to take care of. So I'll let you go enjoy a Toronto day.
You bet.
All right, we'll be right back. You heard what's coming up. We're live on Game Plus TV, streaming live, and podcast wherever the best podcasts are found.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit. As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Canada's premier Junior A Hockey League deserves premier coverage, and at IKS Media, we have you covered for all things SJHL. SJHL Weekly on Monday, a live broadcast across our social media platforms where we interview your favorite players and coaches from across the league and preview the upcoming week. And on Thursday, SJHL Insider, where we look ahead to the weekend that will be and cover everything going on across the league. Catch it all on our social media platforms or on sjhl.ca.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. I'm just putting the finishing touches on the sports update, which we'll get to in a second. You're looking live-ish at beautiful South Florida, where we are awaiting an announcement any moment almost from NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman on an outdoor game coming to Lone Depot Park. It's kind of funny watching the media jump through hoops and who said what first. But I'll be honest, Andy Slater is, my God, Andy Slater from Fox 640 here in South Florida seems to be rocking it the most. He says January 2nd, Panthers playing the Winter Classic next year, and they will be hosting the New York Rangers in the first ever NHL outdoor game in Florida. I wrote a little piece on it in the South Florida Tribune today. If you're down here, pick up a copy. South Florida Tribune. If you're not here, you can read it at southfloridatribune.com. Tampa Bay going to be getting an outdoor game too. Okay, get your comments in 902-518-3033 and the YouTube chat. Text line is pumping. Regarding the story we broke first thing this morning, because I was asked to hang on to it till this morning, Bob in Saskatoon writes in and he says, what is Chris Jones' title going to be in North Carolina? I'm told, let's just say, defensive assistant. That's right from Belichick. He's not big on titles. That's probably what it will say on the website. Here's a little hint. People that are big on titles aren't usually big on productivity. People that are big on productivity aren't usually big on titles. You won't. Kirk, hang on. Before we get to Kirk's, because that's going to take a while. Not to read it, but to answer it. Vintage Sasko writes in and he says, hey, Uncle Rod, I agree on your analysis on just need awesome food at a sports bar. Although I quite enjoyed midget wrestling at the Press Box Sports Bar a few years ago. One of the best nights of my life. We've had a lot of best nights of our life at the Press Box Sports Bar, but we had quite a few best nights of our life at the Four Seasons Sports Palace as well. And like I say, we got a dog track in the back here at Palm Beach Kennel Club. Why don't y'all come on down every Sunday of the NFL season, minimum $25 bet, the buffet's free. I can attest, I was there last Sunday. Kirk writes in, I feel like I got to carry this over to my Panthers Lightning podcast that I'm hosting later today, like right after this show. Kirk in Toronto says, hey, Rod, there is no winter in Florida. That's why you're there. Therefore, no winter classic in my view. Keep it where heritage has meaning, like in the north, where there's ice and snow. Well, the NHL clearly doesn't agree. I'm interested to hear what Gary Bettman has to say about this. He teased it last week at the NHL New Year's Eve Winter Classic. Chicago, St. Louis, won by the Blues 6-2. Again, you're going to have your opinion, and they're going to have theirs. If you've noticed, the buildings are bursting down here in Sunrise. Watch a Panthers game. In Tampa at Amalie Arena. Watch a Lightning game. It's a lot of hockey fans here. They're excited. And by the way, Serena, my beautiful better half, she agrees with you. She thinks this is the dumbest idea ever. So you're not alone. And that's why that's won the award as Florida's fastest growing podcast, because we argue like cats and dogs on there. Happens to be cats and bolts. She thinks it's dumb. I think it's great. As a matter of fact, I said, if you think this is a bad idea, stay home. And she said she would. It's that kind of show. But Lone Depot Park, the home of the Marlins, I was down there in the area yesterday. But traveling became a thing yesterday. It was a very, very windy day. And I don't think too many of you feel sorry for me, but because it was plus 15 Celsius, colder than normal. And the soft top roof on my Jeep, they flew right off. I knew it was in trouble when I heard a pop right about when I was going through Hollywood, Florida. Not a big thing. If you Jeep owners, you would know what I'm saying when I say that it just popped out of the sockets where it connects. Gone. I'm dragging this thing down the I-95. Didn't we look grand? So I just wanted to get to where I was going, which was South Beach for a meeting. In the recovery world, my other life, other career. But had I gone right instead of left, I would have ended up at Lone Depot Park where the Marlins play, and I wanted to get some photos of the stadium and so forth, but there's time for that. When I'm not dragging a soft-top Jeep roof behind my vehicle. So anyways, to make a long story short, Kirk from Toronto, we're going to get an outdoor game whether you like it or not. Sorry. And Tampa Bay, too. Hey, BW writes in and says, how about a Winter Classic in Anchorage, Alaska? They've had neutral site games before. Maybe, right, Gary Bettman? Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, they did one in L.A. I know. I said they've never had one in Florida. And if you talk to anybody that was involved in that, the ice was a disaster. I think we all watched it. I think it was a far bigger success than Aspen, but I don't think they're going back to L.A. anytime soon. Colt in San Diego writes in, and he says, any thoughts on Justin Verlander going to the San Francisco Giants? My thoughts are, he's done. There's some questions and comments here for Moose, but he's gone.
Oh, no.
John Ohm has shown up. He says years ago they did an NHL exhibition game outdoors in Las Vegas. Bro, right? I got to Google that. Go to the big board. I vaguely remember that. Tell us more, John Ohm. And by the way, in the sports update, I'm going to take a break here and come back with that. The Jets are in the sports update, and some interesting stuff coming out of the media day in advance of the Orange Bowl tomorrow here at Hard Rock Stadium. Vancouver Canucks have some news. We got a lot to get to when we come right back. Viewer takeover and sports update as we head into overtime after this here on Game Plus TV, streaming live and podcast wherever the best podcasts are found.
From cash spiels to grand slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit. As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Okay, we are back at it. Hey, are you looking for the perfect place to perfect your shot? Look no further than Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary with state-of-the-art shooting lanes. And they are. I've been there, trust me. Top-notch shooting equipment. It's the ultimate training destination for players of all ages and skill levels. Why don't you try your hand with the radar gun? See if you can get the top score. Whether you're prepping for the big game or just want to have some fun, Overtime Hockey Lanes has got you covered. Check them out, overtimehl.ca. Here's a tip. Lower down your hand on the shaft, harder the shot. You're welcome. Brought to you by Overtime Hockey Lanes. Get down there, check them out, tell me your score. Maybe we'll pass it along here on the air. 28th Street Northeast, Calgary. I could sit here and read your comments all day, which is fun. 902-518-3033, or get to a sports update. And we should probably do that first. Breaking news. Well, it's not breaking. The Vancouver Canucks may have star center Elias Pedersen back in their lineup when they visit the Washington Capitals tonight. Canucks head coach Rick Tocchet says the 26-year-old Swede is a game-time decision, depending on whether he feels comfortable. Clark, I might be on the air tomorrow. It depends on whether I feel comfortable. I'll let you know.
Approved.
Pedersen has not played since December 23rd when he left Vancouver's 4-3 win over the San Jose Sharks with an undisclosed injury after scoring 2 goals. Tocchet says all-star goalie Thatcher Demko is also nearing a return but will not dress for Vancouver tonight in Washington. Alex Ovechkin continues his pursuit of Wayne Gretzky's all-time goals record in that game. He needs 23 to surpass the great one. Also tonight, the Calgary Flames visit the LA Kings, Florida Panthers at Utah, and Colorado at Chicago. If we have time here and we're really desperate, we'll get to my top 5, bottom 5 in the NHL. Didn't do it with Moose earlier, but it's in my column in today's South Florida Tribune. Pick up a copy if you're here in South Florida. It's like 75 cents. Oh, man, I'm going full squirrel here. Hang on. Connor Hellebuck finally has his 300th career win. He stopped 26 shots in the Winnipeg Jets' 5-2 win over the Nashville Predators on Tuesday night. Hellebuck was winless in his prior 2 starts, but becomes the fastest American-born goalie in league history to reach the milestone. 300 wins in 538 games. Quite interesting that he would do that this year, as Sergei Bobrovsky last month became the fastest Russian goalie to 300 career wins. And I feel like Hellebuck and Bob are like tied together cosmically. Wouldn't it be nice if they met in the Stanley Cup final? Winnipeg, Florida. Place line, Dania Beach, Florida. The Big Ten plays 9 conference games in football. So does the Big 12. But the Southeastern Conference and the ACC are among those playing 8-game schedules. The Mountain West played a 7-game league slate. Notre Dame doesn't even have a league. Enough, says Penn State coach James Franklin. Franklin, who raised some eyebrows last month when he said that former Alabama coach Nick Saban should become the commissioner of college football, was at it again today, saying on the eve of the Orange Bowl with his team's matchup against Notre Dame that the sport needs uniformity. Can you believe they don't have it? James Franklin said, quote, "I know a lot of times when coaches talk like this, people roll their eyes. But I think when every decision that we make is based on finances, that we're not making great decisions. It's in the student athlete and the game of football's best interest. I think it should be consistent across college football." So like he's saying, all these conferences play a different amount of games. It really doesn't make any sense. Franklin, who was seated next to Notre Dame coach Marcus Freeman, as he spoke in the final news conference previewing their Orange Bowl matchup tomorrow night, is not new to offering big picture solutions to issues facing college football. He also made clear that he wasn't knocking Notre Dame, which views not being in a conference for football as a strength. Again, it's semifinal time in college football if you're paying attention. Our good friend AJ Jakubik's coming down from Ottawa to go to the Orange Bowl Thursday night, and he called me up and the other night he's like, "Do you have any interest in going in the Orange Bowl?" I said no. Well, I'm on a show that night here in Florida, the South Florida Tribune podcast, which we do live, the Fire Up Florida podcast. So I couldn't do it anyways, but it's a pain. It's a pain getting around down here. And paying $300 minimum a ticket doesn't really interest me for 2 teams that I couldn't give 2 squirts of sweat about. Place line, Boise, Idaho. Oh, that's Thursday night. Penn State, Notre Dame. Friday night, Texas. Oh, my God. Who's the 4th team? Blanking. Oh, the Cotton Bowl. Heisman Trophy runner-up Ashton Genty has announced he is leaving Boise State to enter the NFL draft. Genty rushed for 2,601 yards this season for the 2nd highest total in a season in major college football history. Oklahoma State's Barry Sanders ran for 2,628 yards in 11 games in 1988. Genty ran for 100 yards in every game this season and went over 200 in 6. He averaged just under 7 yards. OSU. He averaged just under 7 yards per carry on a school record and nation-leading 374 attempts. The sports update brought to you by Seat Giant. Stop paying U.S. dollars for games and concerts. Canadian-owned and operated with Canadians in mind. Super Bowl, college football, Taylor Swift, Justin Timberlake. They've got it all. Use promo code RPShow for 15% off now. Check us out at seatgiant.ca. Wild, wild, wild how my brain works or doesn't work. As I was fumbling around in the dark for who Texas was playing in the Cotton Bowl, the image I got in my mind was my sponsor, Bob. Why am I thinking about Bob? Oh, wait, he's a huge OSU fan. That's his team. OSU. Thank you. I'm not sure what you guys were all talking about. Brain farts and Gibbons and Gerard Mayo. Did he know he was going to get fired before the Bills game? Who knows? Probably. And that's why he went all out to win. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, Rod, I've just been notified the Stampeders are looking for a new in-game host. You would be great and could be back in Florida by mid-November. I'll get back to you.
Hot damn!
Are you asking me this? Colt in San Diego says, thoughts on the new golf league? Yeah, no, we don't do golf here. We don't do golf. Read my lips. The blessing. They want you to ask the blessing. We don't do golf. Don't ask about it. And damn sure don't expect it. Yeah, now they're talking about the outdoor game in Vegas back in the day. Yeah, we really got it going today, didn't we? It was fun. Thanks to Arash. Thanks to you. See you tomorrow, noon Eastern.
This show is like a pasture of goats.